Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today I thought I would just randomly do this page in this Peter Pan coloring book. Now I got this coloring book a while back, and this page really spoke to me. I've always had a soft spot for Peter Pan because there's a little girl named Wendy, and Wendy isn't exactly like a Michael or a Susan. There just isn't as many of us in the world, so it always appealed to me. But when I saw this little Tinkerbell with her little pouty face, I just fell in love with it. So I am going to use pan pastels to do this page, and let's see where we go. Okay, I'm going to start with burnt sienna tint. And let's do her little face. Now, as you can see, I kind of went over her hair a little bit, over by her ears. I'm not too worried about that because pan pastels erase so easily. Now, I'm using soft tools. These are the tools that are sold with pan pastels, and it's S-O-F-F-T, soft. Now, they kind of look like a makeup brush. I personally have found that makeup brushes don't work quite as well. There's just something about this material that the makeup brushes just hold on to the pan pastel a little bit more than these do. But I love how fast we can do this because I don't have to worry about staying in the lines. And like all of this, if we were doing this with colored pencils, would really take a while because you just have to be careful. And here I can use my eraser and you'll see how easily it erases. So I can be very free and fast and get into all the little nooks and crannies. Oh, missed a whole shoulder. Okay, for those of you that have watched my channel, you know this is not uncommon. What is uncommon, is that I caught it. Usually I've put this color away before I figure it out. Okay, so next we are going to use red Oxide Tint. I'm going to use that same little brush, and I'm going to give her a little bit of rosiness to her cheeks. Maybe just a touch on her lips. And then I haven't done this a whole lot, so I'm going to try the burnt sienna. So I just clean these off with a little bit of paper towel. And then I can go in with the next color. I may actually use this little makeup brush. And we just want the tiniest amount. So a little bit here. A little bit here. And I'm just tapping it off ever so slightly. But I really don't want it full strength. Because I can use my pencils to do this shading as well. I am no expert when it comes to portraits at all. Now I'm going to use that first color just to kind of blend it. Anywhere, like here I felt like it was a little too much. And here. But look how nice that just kind of blends out. And if I had any real skill in shading, it'd probably be a lot more helpful. Now, one of the things is I am going to take my kneaded eraser, get a nice clean spot, right? And just give her a little bit, clean up my areas where I went over it, and kind of in that eyebrow area we want it a little lighter maybe. Maybe just a bit on the tip of her nose. You can use your kneaded eraser to go, see here where I went over. I can use this. Kind of give her a little bit of highlight on her shoulders there. And maybe here where I was a little aggressive. And then I can go smooth that back out. And then I can use any sort of eraser. But look how fast this is. Now I'm not too worried about her hair because I'm going to make her redhead. I'm looking, there it is. Looking for my little fluffy, my floofer as I call it. I have no idea why I call it that. Now I don't want to go in with my hand and smear. Colored pencil goes over it really well, so like this green leaf, probably wouldn't even have to clean this up because the green will go over it. But sometimes some colors will leave a little bit. If your colored pencil is more translucent, you can really see that base color kind of popping through. But I mainly want to just show you how easy this is to clean it all up. And how easy it is to just blend a nice skin tone. I wish I had a little more experience with shading faces. Okay, let's move on because this is just our base layer. I am going to use red oxide and yeah, I think I'm going to use this I'm going to use that same brush or soft tool. Let's try this color. Let's try burnt sienna. But by putting this base layer down, it saves me a lot of time and my hands a lot of effort of trying to fill in the tooth of the paper. And by fill in the tooth, I don't mean to where you can't put any more color down. I just mean filling in all the white spots so that when you lay your colored pencil down on it, you're adding the details and you don't have to do quite as many layers to get that, you know, that initial flat layer. Does that make sense? And look how much I've used. None. I've even used this color on other projects. And what's nice about these pastels is they are a little bit different than chalk pastels. I have the Mungio pastels and I've done some tutorials with those, or some, let's call them demos, because I don't know that I have the skill set to be doing tutorials per se, but I can show you how I did things. And what I'll tell you is I'm not a huge fan of them. They're just kind of chalky and they're nowhere near as pigmented. But you can see that initial layer down. Now I can go in with this red oxide. I might even pull in that burnt, I don't know, this might work. So here where we'd have some darker colors up in the shadows here. We can add in this darker tone. And once again, I don't have to be super careful because I can erase. Now, obviously, the less you have to do that, the better. You can see I smeared a little right there. It's okay, we can buff that right out. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, guys. This is just our base layer. I can go in with that lighter shade, blend. But my pencils are going to go right over the top of this, and I can put in those strokes of hair that make hair look realistic. But I'm not having to start at ground zero. I can go in, this is the red oxide extra dark. Maybe put in I know a lot of people say, oh, they're so expensive. Well, Copics are expensive too, but what's nice about these is I don't think I'll ever have to replace any of these in my lifetime. They just really last a long time. Now, let's say that I want to put in some highlights, so I can go in put in some light areas. Anywhere you think there might be some light areas. Oh, why I'm struggling so much with my Now when you work with these, you want to have a baby wipe close by. I like the fragrance-free ones. These are just, it says compared to Huggies, but they're alcohol and paraben free. But I keep them close by so that I can wipe my hands, because you will pick up, you'll smudge as you work. You can see where this is all smudged. It's so easy to fix. And keep your surface free. Now you don't want to get your picture wet at all. If you get your picture wet, whether it's by spit or your paper towel or your whatever, it will leave marks that are like you can't, it's like it absorbs it into the paper or something. I'm not sure what it is, but it'll leave a funky mark. But I'm just going in and kind of cleaning up everything. Right there along the edge of her skin. Now I can go in with my tool here. Kind of clean that up a little. what you want to do is clean all this up before you spray it. Now we are going to need to spray this with a fixative. Right now I've been using Krylon workable fixative. Before I used Grumbacher. Zoombucker. Now I'm making stuff up for you guys. They both work. I haven't really noticed that one works better. I will say Krylon's a little more readily available to me in terms of like I can get it at Hobby Lobby. And the Grumbacher I either have to go to an art store or Amazon carries it, but it does take a few days to get. You know, in our world of instant stuff, first world problems, right? Now I'm not too worried if I accidentally erase something out of her hair either, because I'm going to use pencils over this. I'm going to use pencils for all the detail work. So I'm not super worried. I just don't want it like on these wings especially, because the wings I want to be somewhat iridescent when I'm done. Certainly not red. What I like about these little kneaded erasers is you can make them any shape that you want. So like if I want that little piece of hair to be a little lighter. Okay. Let's move on. But I like that, you know, you make a little smudgy, you can just fix it. Okay. Let's do and maybe you aren't quite as messy as I am. I can get this stuff everywhere. But I will say it's not as messy as what I call dry pastels. All right. So now I'm going to go over her little dress with green. So let's see what color of green. I'll zoom you out. Let's flip this over a little. What color green do we want? I'm thinking maybe this green. Now I am just going to be putting kind of a base layer on some things. I can go in with more than one green. We can mix and match a little. These blend really nice. You can blend them right on your little tool. You can blend on a sponge. I am kind of leaning towards more of these olivey greens. And this is part of the soft tool as well. Okay, so see this? That is nothing to worry about. If it bothers you, you can take your tool and clean it. You can clean it with a paper towel. You just kind of just wipe it away. Just that simple. Now it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm not even gonna fret about it. If I go to use it, I can use the areas around it and it's fine. To me, I waste much more product trying to keep them pristine. Okay, next I'm going to bring in this orange shade. Just add a little bit to her hair, because why not? But down here in this little piece here, and I'm going to flip my tool upside down so that I have a clean one. I want to bring in let's try this Diarylide yellow shade. Yeah. Okay, here's a whole other area of her hair that I missed. I didn't realize this was all hair. Doesn't say much for my observation skills. I just get so excited to move on to the next step. This is red iron oxide. Just regular. And that diarylide yellow shade. One of the things I really like about pan pastels too is you can change your mind. So if you put something in there and you don't like it, you just erase it. So like, I can lighten that up a little bit. And then maybe go in with just a little bit of the red. But you can test out some colors that way. You go, no, I don't really like that. You just erase it. It's so easy. Okay. Now, do I want to do the background in pan pastel? Okay, I'm going to use a combination of ultramarine blue tint and turquoise tint. So these two. And I'm just going to go this is a little colorless blender. And I'd rather get this in her hair than have spaces not colored. Okay. Next, I'm going to go in with turquoise and ultramarine. Because I want this to be darker. I'm going to let it kind of fade out. So I'm just blending all three colors together, or four colors, with the idea of the lighter on the outside going up into that darker blue Okay. Now I'm going to get the bulk of that blue off. Now I'm going to go in and with the turquoise, just do her wings. So I got a little yellow in there. Get that out. Okay. Wipe that off. Now I'm going to go in and just add a little blue. Just here and there. Okay, now I'm going to add this is a violet tint. I'm just randomly adding it in. Not too much. Ellie, I'm trying to color. Can you say hi? Her Highness needed down. Okay, and now I'm going to add magenta tint. Okay, and maybe just a little orange tint. This is ultramarine blue shade. I am just going to go around the edge here. Okay, I'm going to use Evazar London pencils. I am going to use white, peaches and cream, pale pink. These are the ones I think I'm going to use. Clotted cream, butternut, cinnamon, mustard yellow. I'll probably touch up the blue with this lavender blue. I'm going to use lime green, pistachio green, apple green, moss green, sap green, and army green. And then in her hair, burnt orange, russet, walnut, and pecan. That would be my guess right now. That could change. Don't hate on me. Okay. So I've sprayed this with fixative. I did a few light coats. My thought is I'm probably going to use something like a pearlescent, this stuff, iridescent medium on the wings, and probably some stickles, probably some posca pen around the edges to kind of get rid of the black wing look. And I'll probably pull in I don't know, maybe one of these orangey reds for her lips when we're done. We'll see. So let's start with her face, clean it up a little bit. Peaches and cream. Now I'm just smoothing everything out. This is a very light hand. You can see it makes hardly any difference in some of these darker areas, but you can see where I've missed little spots. It's going to fill in that gap. So just a very light hand. I want to leave a little bit of a highlight around her eye. Kind of touch up this area down here where we got a little spoofs, little oopsie-daisies. Or as sometimes the English say, they fluff it up. That cracks me up when they say that. To fluff it up. I'm going to leave the tip of her nose a little lighter. We'll definitely be adding. The one thing I will say about Evazar London, I really like these pencils, but I'm not a fan of their skin tones. If you look, I mean, yeah, there's some peaches, but our skin isn't really peach. So what do you shade with? You know, these to me are a little too red, these too brown. Maybe this mocha. I don't know. I feel like this pecan is too red and the dark chocolate's really dark. So I feel like I'm missing that, I don't know, like brownish. I don't know. I might try a little caramel. That might be what I try and use. But in between these little leaves and stuff, she has some skin that we need to touch up. Right? She has a weird finger there. My green got a little smudged right there and I didn't catch it. Try and cover that up a little bit. Now, if you're better at pan pastels than I am, you could even leave it with the pan pastel. There's enough colors, and there's different applicators and stuff that you can use for some of the smaller features. See, I'm not really don't want that white. But I'm wondering if I go over it in white, right? And then go over it with that peaches. We can get a little lighter color there. Let's grab that caramel color. Okay, so let's test it. I don't love that. I feel like it's too, I don't know. It's not enough. Let's try our mocha. No, that's walnut. Press it. I guess I didn't have it out. Let's try mocha. Okay, maybe. Not loving it, but it's gonna have to do. Little shading in the ears. I just feel like we need a little shadowy areas back there. We'll use that. Maybe that's why that didn't work. I did not get caramel. I got bark. Oh, Wendy. Oh, that's too yellow. Caramel's definitely not what we want. I am not liking this at all. Let's get that yellow out of there. Okay. I am going to have to just be okay with not a lot of shading. This isn't awful. We'll kind of even it up a little. Okay, I can live with that, I guess. So what I'm using is mocha. Just to get some shadows in her skin here. Problem is I feel like there isn't a good transition between mocha and peaches and cream. Okay, so I am going to try russet. Just as a little bit of a transition in these darker areas. It's not ideal. So a little bit of that mocha, and then we're going to bring it out just a touch with the russet, very lightly, and then kind of blending it all out, going over the entire thing with peaches and cream. Now watch your pencil, because you see that dark on my pencil? Need to get that off, or otherwise I'm going to transfer it to my page. So, once again, a little bit of mocha, these darker bits. Little bit of russet. Okay, so I'm going to bring just a little bit of that russet down on the bottom edge here. Not on the very, very edge. I'll leave just a little bit of that. And give it a little blend. This is just an eraser. Just that line was looking a little too line-ish, like a line. Okay. So once again, just being really light down here at the bottom edge. And blending it all out. Taking our white. See how much more the white shows up when you spray the fixative? And then blending it. Just a touch on this edge, right here. Just adding a little bit of highlight. I really like that the fixative allows that white to really do its job. I need to watch more tutorials on faces. But guys, these are coloring books, and let's say that I get done and I'm not impressed, which happens. Who cares? We're having fun. We're learning, and we're saying, well, I don't like this as much, or I don't like that as much. Now I know what to do or not do the next time. But we can't not do it. Like, I don't like that shading at all. I think it turned out terrible. So, live and learn. Okay, so let's give her some eyebrows here. I think maybe that pecan. Darken those up a little. Okay, let's go in with a little pale pink. Maybe use that a little to shade. Don't like that. I don't know what happened there. Where I put my little highlight, I got a little aggressive on that one. Just smooth it out a little. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go in with my darkest hair color, which is the pecan. And anywhere that the hair is overlapping, like here in these recesses, I'm just going to do flicking motions to bring it out. Okay, with the hair, we're just going to go with our darkest pencil and work our way up. Each one will be labeled individually, and I'm using the same flicking motion, and I'm keeping it all at real time so that you can see, you know, really how long everything takes. So we'll just work our way through the colors, and I'll see you at the end. Well, at the end of the hair. I love how much time that saves us by basing the hair just with that. I mean, I know you were probably looking at it and thinking it looked hideous, but I feel like it came together really well. Now, I'm just using the same concept on this flower and some of the leaves. I'm going to just be adding some detail using, you know, similar colors to what we based in, but just really filling in the gaps and just smoothing everything out. So I will touch base with you when we're done with that portion, and then we'll move on to our wings. Okay, so to get our wings the way we want, the way I would like them, I'm going to take this posca, and I've sped it up a lot just because it's very repetitive, but you're just basically going to go over all the black lines. Now, you can be as diligent as you want. I feel like I'm going to go over it with stickles and iridescent medium, so I'm getting the bulk of the black line, but there may still be little peek throughs and that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not terribly worried about it. But you can see as we go along what a difference that makes, because on the right hand side it is just smack in your face with those black lines. You know, it doesn't look realistic at all, because you know fairy wings should be realistic. You know what I mean. I'm just saying that when you white out all the black lines, it really makes them look a lot more translucent. Just that alone, if we did nothing else. And the little pops of color that I put in with the pan pastels, I just think that adds a little bit. Now, you could have left them all one color. There's nothing to say, you know, I think the other way that I think works really well, if you want to make them look more see-through maybe instead of realistic, is if I would have made the background one shade darker blue and then made the wings the lighter blue. I think that that can really work, because then it looks like there's like you're seeing the background through the wings, which I think we kind of get a little bit here by using those various colors. Now, I realized I had forgotten to put in our freckles, so that's what I'm doing here. And I just use walnut, and you can make them as big or as small as you want. You can make them, I could have used the red color to make them a little lighter, or I just kind of picked a color. But anyway, like I was saying, because the bulk of those wings is that turquoise tint, I think it really worked. Now, this is an iridescent medium that you can basically add over the top of like watercolors, is what it I think was originally intended for. I sped this up a lot. It's like 20 times or something like that. So don't think that you're not going to spend a few minutes doing this. But, you know, there's only so much of this stuff I want you to have to watch. Now, this is Stardust Stickles, and this is my personal favorite Stickles color. It's just a nice iridescent, but oftentimes some of the other see-through ones, they're very gold, or they're very blue or green or whatever, like the glitter in them. So I don't know. This is just the one that I kind of like. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look at all of that shine. I love it. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.